Okay, so I'm here with Clodagh Cullen. I spoke to her before Artemis. She had a couple of guys fighting on it, and then we were speaking after, kind of in messages. She had a busy, not just a couple of weeks, a lot of weeks. She had World Championships. She was over in Latvia. She had guys there recently in Scotland as well. So, how are you? How has the past 6 weeks or so been? How were the World Championships? Talk to us about that, getting over there, and thank you very much for joining me again.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Dave. So obviously, since the last time we spoke, I had mentioned that I was taking no, 9 athletes to Wales to the World Championships. Again, it was soon after I was promoted as ICO president, so it was kind of like quickly get a team together, quickly book flights, quickly like I think I had 6 weeks maybe to prepare everything. So we went, and the team that I brought was very strong. I think with 9 athletes, we took home 19 world medals, and five of those were world champions. So I mean, like with the small team that we brought, it wasn't it wasn't a shy team anyways. Every one of them were there, and I suppose we made a statement, and I suppose it was good for me as well because it was my first time as president. So I was able to make that team in that short space of time and bring the best of what I had over and make a statement as well. So, but no, it was a very successful and very, very well run World Championships, I have to say.
That's a lot of medals for the amount of fighters you brought over. So
Yeah.
congratulations to yourself and each and every one person. That's a huge amount of medals. But how did you find? Obviously, you would have been going over in a coaching role before, and you had this role on top of it, and you had to prepare. Obviously, you prepared it very well because you got over there, had a strong team. What were the kind of, was there any, what were the difficulties or difference, not difficulties, but differences from just going as a coach? Like, what extra, not pressure, but extra things would you have had to do that you wouldn't have had to do as a coach?
Um, I suppose like from recent years, I would have coached and competed. Like so, that would have been a main factor that like I could have competed this time around. I just felt that being the first time in this role, I needed to go and, play a part and show up like professional, like I had to be and whatever. Um, I suppose I probably regret not jumping in and, having a couple of fights and stuff. I could have, I just chose not to. So that was like, I was kicking myself. And then when the lads were winning, I was absolutely delighted for them. And then seeing the girls that were in my categories thinking, oh, I would have smashed them, or, like, I suppose that was like a hurdle that like it took me a day or two to get over. I needed to bring myself back in and go, hold on now, you're president. Let's play that role. Let's leave these guys do the fighting work. But I suppose outside of that, like making sure that the team they were representing their country right. You know, again, we're wearing the ICO badge, so and I have a part to play. Like, as in, we have to respect that badge as well, and make sure that the kids were doing everything right and the parents were supposed doing everything right. And yeah, I think that was kind of the most difficult part, but it wasn't even difficult because, as I said, I had a good team and they're experienced fighters. Like they would have known, how I work and how things work. Like so,
Yeah, I say that once a fighter, always a fighter. I say, especially when you're there, it's hard to go. But with the new role, obviously, you had, like I said, you had to be there, be present, and be available as well. Not preparing yourself for a fight or in a fight, if, like you said, if there was something going on. But you, what was he said? You brought 9 fighters over. If you can talk about it, what way does the selection process work? Do people put themselves forward? Is there a tournament? Or
yeah. So for that particular for Wales just gone, it was more of a case where I didn't go to other clubs outside, like other clubs outside of Waterford. I just stuck to my own here because it was just easier. And I mean, it's a lot of money to ask people to fork out in a couple of weeks' time. So I kind of just put it out to my fight team to see who could make it, who couldn't. And I got the 9 athletes that came back were up for it. So for the next year, the World Championships are on in France. They're on the Swiss border of France. I think they're on the 14th or something of October. But yeah, for that, I suppose I put the feelers out to a lot of people, to see who would be interested. And then I suppose the Four Nations are happening on the 1st of February in Kilkenny, where I would like to see a lot of the medal winners that they would come on board on the team. I don't just want to take someone who's never had any fights before. But again, I'd like to give everybody an opportunity. It's not a case of, because I do find that when you have those systems where, you have to go and fight for your spot. So people could be having a bad day. They might be excellent fighters, but you could just be having a bad day. And I suppose I don't really agree with picking from that one competition. I think people should be given a chance. A couple of squad sessions should be held, if you're turning up to them. Yeah, maybe one or two competitions in the meantime as well. But I just feel that one that a lot of people do, 1 day competition, maybe first and second place will qualify. But again, like, you could be having a bad day. Like, I know if it was me, I've had many bad days from being a kid the whole way up. And I just think that I don't think, me personally, that's the right way to do it. So I think a lot of squad sessions, I put the feeler out, I've shared it on my social media, and a lot of clubs have got back to me. Like, the ICOs is open to, they've got grappling, they've got gi and no gi grappling, we have boxing, all the karate, the traditional, the hard style, we've got full contact K1, light contact, low kick, traditional kickboxing, points fighting, like, you name it, the ICO have quite literally everything. So I'm in talks with a grappling team from Ireland coming under the ICO. We've got a Muay Thai team, nearly there. I'm chancing and swinging some arms. It's difficult because obviously, the main, like, Muay Thai organizations and stuff are where people want to go. So it's hard to pull like teams and stuff from their own, we'll say, origin. But some people they're trying it out, they're testing the waters. So hopefully we can make a good impression in France and pull more teams towards us.
Yeah, no, that's good. And like I said, especially with Muay Thai and other things, they have their kind of routes that they would
That's
traditionally
it.
go down. And they, not that they might not be comfortable, but they kind of see that way.
Yeah,
But but obviously there's this new option then as well, because I think for fighters, grapplers and whatever they may do, I think having options is always so good, the sort of way you can, if you have more options, I'd rather be looking at it than looking for it,
yeah,
sort of a way. And I like your kind of thoughts on like a 1 day competition, because I always found I would relate it to school. Like, you could be very good all year, but you could come to a test and, like, so it doesn't represent what you've done. It's your whole, like, you would know the fighters, their body of work. But when
yeah.
you were there with, like, bringing back all those medals, how did it feel personally to bring back all those medals, getting the team together in a short space of time and having that much success for your first kind of tournament in your new position?
Yeah. I mean, I was speechless for a couple of days. I think we won our first world title on the, I'm going to say the second day. It was nearly 7 o'clock in the evening. One of our guys ended up in the final with a Spanish kid, and this was our guys. Liam is his name. It was Liam's first time at a World Championships, and I think it was his K1 final, and everybody was wrecked. I could see, like, he had fought at 9 o'clock that morning and then had to wait till the evening for that final to come around. Like, so I was crossing everything, hoping. But, like, when the first world goal came, then it was like I was happy because I had one. Never mind getting the five, I had one. And then on the Friday, my own sister actually fought a girl from the USA in the Kumite in the karate final, or the semis actually, and then her final was held off till the Saturday night. They do a kind of a gala event, so they pick a final of a couple of categories and they hold it at the gala event. And again, there was 9 athletes from Ireland. There was 106 athletes from the USA. So it was us nine versus that 106. And my sister went to beat that a girl from America in front of everybody. All the countries were there watching. It was the only event that happened. There was one at a time. And I suppose Abby went and, like, smacked. Now, this was an open weight category. Like, this girl was a unit, like, do you know what I mean? She was strong as well. But my sister opened her up, and I think that was gold medal number two. And then I have a 10-year-old boy, Dino Reardon. He went and took two more gold medals, and then 13-year-old girl, Joni Hayes, she went and took my fifth one. So it was just one gold medal after gold medal was coming. And then, like, all the guys who got the silvers and bronzes as well, they were so close. It wasn't like we were miles away. It was by inches. Like, it was nearly like you were more heartbroken for all those silver medalists because they were literally by inches, that kind of way. So, but it was a different experience altogether for me. Like, it was great, and the recognition that the lads got, never mind me, like, that they got, it was something else. I've got phone calls coming from all over the world saying, fight here, fight for this one, fight for that one. And I'm going, yeah, we'll take this, we'll take that. Oh, I don't have time for this because we've already taken that. This is the position that we're in now. Like, so they've made a name for themselves, you know?
Yeah, like I said, better to have all these options, and congratulations on the success you had. And like when you said the number, what you say, 109 people
Yeah,
from
there was
Ireland?
from the USA, there was 106 athletes came.
And is there a cap on how many you could have brought?
Yes, but I suppose in 6 weeks, you know, I didn't open it up. Like, I didn't want to frighten myself too much
Yeah.
and go to the whole of Ireland. And if 100 people came to me, I'd have to sort flights and hotels, and that's a bit frightening now with only a couple of weeks in. Like, so I said I'll give myself a while. So the name that I brought really made a mark anyways, a good mark. Like, so
Yeah, no, they did, and it just goes to show on this island, it doesn't matter. Like I'm involved in different sports on this little island. We just have such a talent for fighting. I don't know what it is. It must
yeah.
be our history or something. But I just think when we go to places like that, we really show up and we really, really represent ourselves in a really good manner. And everyone knows what the fans are like when at these events. But you were saying you were then in Latvia. There was a very short stopover start back home and then back. Talk to us about Latvia, what that was and what it involved for you.
Yeah, so I got home from Wales on the Monday, and 24 hours later, I then made a journey to Latvia for the WUKF Karate Europeans, where I was to compete over 2 days, I think it was. Yeah, 2 days. So got there and we weighed in and stuff. I was tired. I'm not going to lie. I was absolutely wrecked after the week in Wales. But again, I was just buzzing to be there because now it was my time. After seeing all the lads fighting and winning and doing their thing, I just kept thinking about the weekend, the week after, and how I could do it. So I fought in the open weight on the first day. Again, was feeling a little bit unwell, wasn't feeling great, but I ended up. I lost out in the open weight to the heavyweight world champion by just 1 point, a Slovakian girl by just 1 point. So I was thinking to myself, oh, I'll be back now in my own weight category. The next day, I was like out for the count. I was so sick, but I had my own weight category. The next day, again, I lost out to so I got a bronze medal in the open weight, and then I went on to get a bronze medal in my weighted category to a Romanian girl. She was I think I beat two Slovakians to get into the semis. And then when I fought the Romanian girl, she was I know her since I'm like competing at these she's in the 21 to 35s as long as I'm alive. Like, I feel like she should be in the veterans, but for some reason she just keeps staying where she is. So I don't know. She's absolutely amazing. She's like, I would easily say 6'5". I am 5 foot 1.5. She was a tall girl. So there was just no chance of me getting in there. Do you know what I mean? So again, I was dragging myself along that floor trying to get to the medals because I wasn't going home without any, you know. But no, it was a successful trip. It was only my second time in the 21 to 35s. So it's a big age gap, like, you know. Um, but it was good. Then I spent the last 2 days really, really sick before coming home. So
That's not really ideal being sick before you come home, but like 6'5", 6'5" would even tower over me. Like I can even imagine how, and you can see it in whether it's boxing, kickbox, or whatever sport it is, K1, they can just keep you. They can just keep you back, uh, and trying to get in and trying to make it dirty is hard because you're going to get caught as well. But competing when you're sick as well, was there ever thought of like I can't compete because I was so sick, or is that something that would never enter your head when you're competing?
uh no, in the karate definitely wouldn't enter my head. I suppose it's different to kickboxing, like, or K1 or whatever. In the kickboxing K1, you're stepping out there and you want to kill each other. Like, you're looking at over your opponent going, I want you lying on this canvas. Do you know what I mean? Whereas in the karate, it's like, I want to score as many points as I can on you and then I'm going to win. Whereas they're like polar opposites. One is serious different speed and technique, whereas the other is like, I'm going to drive my hand. I want it to come out the back of your head. Like, do you know what I mean? So I just think in karate, it's like there's so much adrenaline, you just want to get it done and it's fast. So no, I would have never thought like, no, I don't want to do this again. Like, even if I was literally on my deathbed, I would still be doing it. I would still just get it done. I made the journey, so I've nothing to lose. Like,
Yeah, no, and congratulations for going through that, especially when being sick, because I know what it's like when I'm sick. I don't even want to get out of bed, so I can't even imagine what it's like to go and then go and fight someone who's 6'5". It would just it wouldn't even enter the possibility in my mind. But you then said you got had another guy down in Scotland as well recently.
yeah.
Uh,
So our guys went to Scotland with one of our coaches. Um, they went. They're training with a couple of weeks now, but again, they had to do a lot of their training. Like I was in Wales, then I was in Latvia, and then they went away. Um, there on Friday, and one of our guys won a European kickboxing title, and the other girl just missed out. Very very close. Full. It was her first full contact fight. She just missed out on it, but again she'll be back. But it's just been success after success for us. So it's we have a great finish to the year, I suppose.
yeah, it is, especially with all the medals, then yourself going out and then picking up more. How do you feel your year has gone overall, not just the past couple of weeks? Because even just listening to that, the success in the past couple of weeks is unbelievable, but spread out over the whole year. How do you look back on your year?
Um, I wish I got in the ring more. Definitely, I had one fight, back in March for an Irish title, which ended in a draw, which I wasn't too happy about. I was very eager to get back in again. And then I fought for a European title in my hometown in June, and sorry,
Yeah.
yeah, fought for a European title in my hometown in June. Again, I was winning the fight, and then took this horrible right hand in the fourth round that knocked me for seven. And I genuinely couldn't tell you how I finished the last round. I didn't even think I had 2 feet. Like I thought I was a goner. But so I wasn't happy with the two of those fights. Hoping I'd get one towards the end of the year, and then this ICO thing came, and then the Worlds came, and then like I mean, my preparations for Latvia weren't as good as they should have been because I was getting the guys ready for Wales. Um, I suppose I kind of put myself to the side, and I didn't get to prioritize myself at all. So for next year, my aim is at the least 4 ring fights. While I'm trying to get everything else, I need to start, prioritizing myself a little bit as well. But no, it was a very successful year. For our club as a whole, anyways, it was very successful. We had the national championships last weekend for the karate, and God, like I couldn't even tell you, we had like 38, nearly 40 kids, and a lot of national champions came out of that. Um, like if I could go on every weekend and tell you we had something different, but we'd be here till tomorrow. But like as a whole, like our club is very very successful, and I suppose it's all down to my coach Pat. Like I wouldn't be as good of a coach or know what I know if it wasn't for him. Like so, you know, all down to him. You don't want to give him a big head around because it's as big as it is, anyways. But
Well, if my club was coming back with all these medals and all these titles, I'd have a big head too. My next question was going to ask you, like, what does Pat mean to you? But if you don't want to give him a big head, we won't go there. But
no,
obviously, you're a product of him. But talk to him about your relationship with him being a mentor to you, bringing you up and bringing you to this coaching situation to being the coach, and then obviously from being in and around sport. Obviously, you've gone on to your new role as well. Talk to us about how he's influenced you as a person and as a fighter.
yeah, God, like it's like anybody's coach. Like they're with you from day one, and I suppose I from the start I grew a different relationship with Pat that like he was nearly like a father figure to me. Um, like I had my first job was under him in a leisure centre. I He helped me be qualified as a lifeguard. I done my first aid response. Like everything that I started, all my roots came from him giving me these opportunities. Again, if it wasn't for my parents in the first place putting me or into the gym and me meeting Pat in that way, but like everything from like down when I got my first Dan black belt, then him teaching me how to teach classes or going to competitions, watching him coach. Obviously picked up some little things, maybe, maybe got some of his anger and stuff when you're coaching. Coaches can get very frustrated. I find myself being more like him in that sense. Um, but yeah, he's a troublemaker too. I find myself becoming a troublemaker. Um, but look, like I suppose all these opportunities, like being a female and being a president of a sporting organization, it's not often you hear that, whether it be any sport. It's not often that you hear that there's a female president of it. So I know, like everything I do, he's in the background guiding me through that. It might look like it because he doesn't want to take that limelight from me, but everything I do, I double check with him. I make sure that you know I'm making the right decisions, and any decision that I made that has been right has been him telling me to do that. So there's still to this day, and even when if he ever decides to retire, I will still be double checking everything with him, because I just find that he's got like the knowledge that's going on in that head, much more with it, but the knowledge that's going on there is something else. Like, so there wouldn't be anybody else that is on this planet that I would go to for advice, but him.
He sounds like obviously he's a good backbone for you, going through it like that. Most of the decisions I say you're probably making right, but it's like that you always want to get like a verification of someone
Yeah,
who you would see as like your mentor that'd be more credentialed, have more knowledge. Not that saying that he will, but obviously he's been around a long time and
yeah,
he's been like said a father figure to you. But you've done extremely well, especially going to the Worlds with the amount of time you had to prep. Next year with the obviously because I don't know what kickboxing and karate and stuff is like. Is it more organized than MMA? Because MMA, you don't find out the dates till a lot longer, but you said 2 days there, the Four Nations, and then the Worlds, I think, next in October, November. Is it easier for you then to plan in your new position to then give yourself time as a fighter, like to plan around that?
yeah. Well, I suppose like with the karate, especially, a lot of dates are nearly a year in advance. Like we'll know now that the World Championships are back in Romania. They're at the summer. They happen at the same time every year. The Europeans will happen in October. We've got some dates for small competitions, maybe for the first half of the year until September, so that I can kind of plan out with the kickboxing. Then under the ICO, like it's like anything, like there's a show next week that I've been asked will two of my fighters fight on. Like things like that can just pop up, and opportunities that are just meant to be that could come a couple of days in advance that we will take. But no, it looks like we've got a fairly packed, even more busier than this year, which I didn't think was bloody possible. But it's quite literally looking like it's possible that the Four Nations is happening. I think the first one is in England. That's God March. Then there's England, Scotland, Wales. The World Championships is on. There's a big show, ICO Ireland versus ICO Scotland in April. There's another show in Scotland in June. Like all these things are, stacking up while I'm also looking at, okay, what titles can I grab? Where can I go? So now that I have those written down, then I can go, right, I can focus on training myself here. But I also need to remember I need time to rest in between all of this. Then I have a job as well. I work in a creche. So it's a fairly full on job as well. It's you need to be energetic, you need to be enthusiastic, super fun all the time. So just have to not wear myself out.
Yeah, and it can be easy done. And like I said, working the crash is tough. It takes your energy. You need to, like I said, you need to be there. You need to be happy,
Yeah.
and like just be there energetically for the children. And you've just made me tired even explaining the amount of stuff you have that year. And like I said, there's going to be shows in between. You're going to have Artemis again. There's so many K1 shows I've noticed going on as well. So they will still have to announce dates for later in the year. But what's your kind of plans or goals for next year, if you have any kind of set out yet, or are you just waiting to kind of get to the end of this year and then look forward?
Well, my first goal will be to run off a successful tournament for the Four Nations. Um, I've done a lot of interclubs and small tournaments, but this is like to a different scale. There's a lot of internationals coming, so that will be my first goal, to run that off smoothly. Not everything goes right, so there will be a couple of bumps in the road, but just to do that successfully. My second will be that I brought 9 athletes to Wales last year. I will be hoping not to aim too high, but I'll be hoping for 100 athletes from Ireland to go, from over through every discipline. That will be a major goal for me. If I could even over 50, I'll be happy with. But my highest, what I would aim for is maybe 100. And then I suppose the last goal for myself would be to pick up another couple of titles. I'm disappointed that I'm leaving this year. That Irish title at the first half of the year. I thought I had won, ended in a draw. It stayed with the person who held it. The European title just slipped away from me. So I'm quite disappointed in myself that I'm leaving without it. I did take 2 European medals from the karate Europeans, but it's just not really good enough for me. So next year, that's one of my own personal aims, is that I can go and take a couple of titles.
And with that fight being a draw, would that not have been something that they would have looked to immediately trying to rematch, or was it something, or was it just timing and stuff like that?
Um, I don't. I actually don't know. I don't even know if a rematch was on the cards. I do know there's a couple of other promoters that did mention it to me, but I suppose the girl that I fought, we were friends before we had fought, and then I mean, naturally, I wasn't happy with the decision. Same as every fighter would be. If you're not, when you're not happy, you're not happy. So we kind of not fell out, but we did distance for a little while because I had my head up my backside because I thought I was the winner on the day, and I was disappointed that it didn't come out that way. I would look back at the fight a million times. I was trying to critique myself. I couldn't find anything where I'd done wrong or where they could have taken. But again, that's the fight game, and it's how it works. There was no rematch there and then on the night. Was agreed. I think everybody was kind of a little bit on edge after the decision. Nobody really spoke. We kind of all just went our separate ways, and that was it. But no, myself and that girl, we've linked back up. We're chatting away again, and I don't think it's something that we want to see come up again in the future, because it did kind of, I want to say, it ruined the friendship that we had. But again, it's the fight game, isn't it? And if you have to meet your friends, I mean, I fought my sister in America 2 years ago, so in the final. So
What?
it's just how it works. Yeah.
You saw, so talk to us about how this transpired. That obviously you and your sister met in the final, and obviously you're still friends because I still see her posting your stuff whenever I post something got to do with you or the team. She always likes it as well. So talk to us about how that happened, because that's a unique situation that you don't see too often. Well,
Yeah.
I've not seen too often.
The category was 18 to 20, and she was 18, I was 20. I think it was like minus 60 kilos or something. It was the lightest weight of the age group. I fought, it was the Northeast American Open. It was in Vegas, in the, oh god, the Horseshoe Hotel or something. But yeah, we've been going to Vegas for a couple of years. We never ended up meeting each other. But this year in particular, we did. So she had 2 or 3 fights, and I had 2 or 3 fights, and then now we were winning out our fights like fairly, 6-0, 6-1 each. Then it came to the two of us, and we were sparring partners up to going to this competition, so we could read each other like a book. Now, in the back of my mind, I'm going, I'm not letting my little sister beat me here. I don't know what was going through her head, but in mine, I'm telling everybody at home I'm coming home with a gold medal. So best believe that's what's going to happen here. So I know we were kind of giggling and whatever at the start, and we were testing each other a little bit. Again, I could see my mom like was looking through her fingers. She didn't even want to watch. She was sitting on the side like, traumatized. But there was no injuries. I came out on top. Abby came out second. She was happy. I was happy. But again, like, it's how the fight game works. I mean, you have to meet each other. I mean, we were in Vegas at an All Ireland final, like, so, and Waterford as well. Not even Ireland. It was 2 Waterford girls made it to the final, so it was quite a big deal as well for my coach. Obviously.
Yeah, that's mental. Two people from Watford, sisters. I can imagine what, because I don't have two kids, I've one, but I could imagine if him and his stepbrother fought, the sort of way as well, I'd just be like, oh, here. But look, like I said, it's the fight game. These things have to happen, and like that. Look, it is what it is. But you've had a really successful year. There's a lot going on, and you seem to have handled it really, really well and managed it really, really well. And then next year you're going to have like that. You have a lot more time to prepare, try and get people over, and then try and get yourself some title fights. But I'm going to let you go. Is there anything you want to say before you go, or anyone want to shout out? And thank you again for your time.
Just shout out to the ICO. It was a very warm welcome that we had, and I'm super grateful that I got to meet Mark Curry and Andrew Hennessy. And I suppose I'm looking forward to the kicking off 2026 with the Four Nations for the ICO. And anyone that's watching this, make sure you register on the Key app system.
Perfect. I'll wait, when I share this, I'll put a link out as well, and we'll link up just before that as well, or
Yeah,
after, whichever you prefer to see, kind of like your preparations, etc. There's someone actually behind you as well. Um, so I'm gonna let you. I'll cut that bit out. Thank you very much, and great year, and I can't wait to see what next year holds for you.
thank you.